Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and this time around we're going to be taking a look at the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Heavy Industry 112 scale synthetic human from 1000 Toys. And I'm not really familiar with 1000 Toys. I've seen their stuff online. It always looks cool, but this is the first one that I purchased myself. So let's get right into it, starting with the packaging. It's an all black background. You have the figure in the center. It looks very nice. And then on the back, you get another shot of the figure kind of posed in a kind of like creeping, crouching kind of pose. And then once you take the slip cover off, you're able to see the figure and the accessories. He's kind of hard to see because all the packaging that they have in there. And I do like this packaging a lot. It's real small. The figure fits in there nicely, and it does feel high quality even though it's just cardboard. But it does look cool, and I like that it's collector friendly. But that's enough about the box. Now let's bust this figure out and see what it's all about. So right out of the packaging, I was really impressed by the look and feel of this figure. This is the first 1000 Toys I ever purchased, so I wasn't 100% sure what to expect, but I did assume that it was going to feel like a high quality figure because they do cost about $80 retail. So I did expect that it was going to have like a nice feel to it and the joints were going to be tight, and all that is the case. So I am very happy about that. But as far as the details on this guy, it's not really, I don't know, it's hard to talk about really because I'm not really sure what I don't know if there's like source material for these synthetic humans that they make, but they do look really interesting. This one definitely has like some influence from iRobot. It seems like most of these figures are the same body with just different color plastic. Some of them I've seen are like clear. I think there's a white one out there, but in general they do definitely seem influenced by iRobot, especially in the face. I think all of them have the clear face, but this one I think is a re-release from a 12-inch version that they did a couple years ago, and this one has like this thing kind of makes me feel like it's like a Vision Mark 1 or something like that, you know, like this is like the first thing that Ultron came up with when he was trying to build the Vision. I don't know, that's kind of the feel I get when I'm messing with this figure. That's kind of like what I pretend it is when I'm messing with it. But it is interesting. It has some like details in the creases there. There's some like brown paint work in there. And then there's markings all over his body. And I can't really see what it says. I believe that it's in a different language. And as you could see there, it looks like there's some different kind of things going on there. Yeah, so you check it out. It's definitely in a different language, but just looking at it, it's really hard to see. I didn't even look close enough when I first got this figure. I just thought that was just words I couldn't read. I didn't even know it was in a different language, but it is very cool. Then on the back, there's a lot of stuff going on too. All the different vertebrae down his spinal column are all numbered. Up here it just goes 1 through 4, then we got 1 through 5, then down here it's 1, 2, then down here 1 through 4. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Again, you have some more brown paint work in the lines there. The shoulders orange. Let's see what else we have going on here. Some more markings on the legs. And down here you have some like red around the foot. You also have some red around the upper arm here. But yeah, it has a really interesting look, and it definitely looks like a android that wants to murder humanity eventually. You know, some kind of weird robot that'll tell you that you could trust him and this and that, and then he'll kill you when you're asleep. That's definitely the feel that I get from this figure. So I don't know, it's really cool. It'd be awesome to army build these guys, and I've seen people army build them, but yeah, they're expensive to army build, and it'd be kind of cool to have this one as like the main Mark 1 kind of thing with the army of like the clear or the white ones in the back of him. That'd be really dope, but that would be an expensive thing to make happen. And for the accessories, he comes with a few sets of hands, including a flat open set. And then he comes with a pair of fists, and then he has a pair of gripping hands, but he doesn't come with anything to grip. And then he comes with 2 different face sculpts. And the first one really screams iRobot to me. This looks just like Sunny from iRobot, but that's really cool. I've always thought that was a cool look. And this one has like a more human type of look to it. It has like lips and a nose, and it looks like a robot trying to be human. And I'm into that. I like that a lot. And then for this face, it's just like it's like as if the faceplate was removed, and it's just kind of like the bare bones of the robot that we have going on. And you can see the eyes, they look all bugged out and red. And yeah, it's really creepy. So I'm into that too. And both of the faces have articulating eyes. It's a little difficult to do it. It does come with a tool that helps you, but it's still a little hard. You could see that there's pegs in there, and you could just use this tool to shift them around. The head is really small, so it's hard to hold, but you could get this tool in there. There we go. Move the eyeballs around. And It's a little bit easier like on a Figma figure, but yeah, this is a little tough here, but there we go. So yeah, you could get his eyes to move around if you'd like. And that's definitely a cool feature, but it's a little hard to mess with. And the faces are able to switch really easy. You could just pull it right off and stick this head on there. And he is a 1/12 scale figure, but he does look a little small next to other 1/12 scale lines. And here's an example of that with the Marvel Legends Wolverine and Marvel Legends Cyclops. And you could see he looks like a different scale for sure. And that's kind of to be expected with Legends, but I thought he would be a little closer to figure art size. And as you could see here next to the figure arts Tony Stark and figure arts Iron Man, he's still a little small compared to them. And here he is next to the DC Icons Nightwing and the 3A Robo Hunter. And he feels kind of more in line with 3A figures. They run a little bit smaller. And here he is next to the Figma Captain America and the Marvel Legends Ultimate Spider-Man. So I do feel like he's a little small for 1/12 scale, but it's not like it really matters. He isn't really based on anything that I know, so he doesn't have to be like the perfect size. I'm happy with how big he is. And this figure has a crazy amount of really functional articulation. So let's look at it here. His head is able to move side to side. It could tilt almost all the way horizontal, so you could get some really creepy poses out of that. And he has some rotation at the neck, so you could get a lot of expressive poses out of just the head movement there. And then for his torso, he could tilt all the way to the side. He can rotate all the way around, and he could crunch forward a really nice amount. Look at that there. This articulation would be awesome for a Spider-Man figure. I'd like to get it'd be cool to get like some soft good Spider-Man uniform onto him. That would look amazing. Because look at that, he could get in some really nice hunched over poses. And let's see what else we have going on here. Yeah, this torso joint is crazy. It just has a bunch of movement. You could do pretty much anything you need to do. And then for his arms, his shoulder joint can move around like that, as you could see. And his arm's going to go all the way around, come out to the side. Upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbow that really bends a nice amount. Look at that. His arms come out to the side. His hands are on a swivel and a hinge. But yeah, I really love this double jointed elbow here. Check that out. And then he has these ball jointed hips, and his legs could come all the way up. And they could come to the side. They could kick all the way out. He has the upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees. His feet can swivel side to side. They come out forward to right there. They could come up to there. He has a toe articulation, toe hinge, and then rocking ankles. So yeah, this thing is crazy with the articulation. Like I mentioned, it'd be awesome to get a Spider-Man with some articulation like this. Maybe that upcoming Mafex one will have articulation this good. We'll see, but look at him. You could get him into all kinds of crazy like poses, crunches. You could get him to crouch a really nice amount. You could get him into some really cool running poses. And even though I've been messing with this figure a lot, none of the joints feel loose at all. The only thing that's kind of loose on this figure is the left or the right hand. It pops off kind of easy. Not the fist, but the open hand pops right off, so that's why I have the fist on him. But yeah, look at that. Really cool posing and really tight joints. And yeah, this is just a really impressive, fun figure, especially if you've never had one of these. I'm sure people that own these and are a fan of the 1000 toys, you know, already knew what to expect and they're already sold on these figures. But for me, I was just kind of trying this thing out, and I'm really glad I did, because I skipped on the exclusive last year that they had, and I wish I didn't. So overall, I'm really happy with this figure. Like I mentioned before, I'm not really familiar with the stuff that 1000 Toys does, but I always think it looks cool, but I've just never pulled the trigger on them. But, you know, I was down there for Comic-Con. I saw this. They had one on display that you could kind of play with and mess with, and I was impressed with it, and I was already a little bit curious. So I picked it up, and I'm really glad that I did. I'd love to get like an army of these guys because they look really cool, and I've seen some really amazing pictures using armies of these things, and it just kind of brings me back to the iRobot thing with a bunch of those things running around tearing up cars and stuff like that. That'd be really cool to experiment with a little bit with these figures. And it's always fun to get a figure that's completely new. You know, I love Marvel Legends, but a lot of them are really similar to each other. I love Mezco, but a lot of the figures are really similar. And figure arts is awesome and stuff too, but there's hardly ever surprises. You kind of understand all the articulation, so it's hard to get caught by surprise with anything that they do. But when you pick up a new figure from a line that you've never touched before, it's always fun to figure out the things that a figure could do, and it's always fun to mess with it and experiment with it and take some cool photos. And with this figure, it's extra fun because you could use your imagination a little bit. Like I said, I don't know if there's any history attached to this whole design, but it is fun just to kind of pretend things with it, you know? So that's fun. Like I said, I like to pretend that it's the first version of Vision, or just a, you know, angry robot that wants to be human, or just something like that, you know? That kind of stuff is always fun. And when it comes to science fiction, I always like androids and robots and stuff like that. That's one of my favorite aspects of science fiction, or one of my favorite, like, concepts to use in science fiction, where robots think they're human and all that cool stuff. So this figure just speaks to me a little bit, and I'm very happy to have it. And having this figure has made me even more excited about getting that upcoming 1000 Toys Dark Horse Hellboy figure. And that thing, if that figure is anywhere near the quality of this figure, that thing is going to be a classic. So I'm really excited about that guy. And speaking about that real quick, earlier this week, or possibly late last week, the Dark Horse website put the Hellboy figure up for pre-order, and I think it was like $130, $135 or something like that, that you had to pay up front, and that was for the exclusive version of Hellboy. And I know that's a lot of money to put up front, so if you don't want to do that, there's alternatives out there. You could get the non-exclusive version, and the only difference is that it doesn't come with the extra horns, the extended horns, and it doesn't come with the sword. And, you know, if you go with that version, you could save yourself about $50. It's on Big Bad Toy Store for, I think, 110, but there's a few other places out there that have it for 80. So if you look around, you could save some money if you're okay with not having those two accessories, which, you know, I gotta be honest, I kind of am. I'd rather get it a little less expensive and not have to pay up front and just miss out on those two things. It would be cool to have them, but I don't think they're worth $40, and I don't think it's worth paying up front right now for a figure that's going to come out in a year. But anyways, that's off track a little bit, so sorry about that. Just wanted to give you that information in case you hadn't heard. But yeah, I'm really happy with this figure, very happy to have it, and I really hope that I could pick up some more down the road. We'll see. But thank you very much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and thank you very much. Peace.